Hey everybody, it's Nathaniel and Clara reporting from Dallas County, and who am I here with today?
You're with Clara Avila,
Yeah,
also reporting from Dallas County.
yeah, ready to determine who is the butthole and who's not the butthole?
Absolutely.
All right, let's get started then. Being not my tenant, her mom, and my mom
Uh-huh.
to deal with the cops for a couple hours.
Okay.
Okay. All right. I rent my basement suite out to my mom's best friend's daughter, Sally. I saw her growing up and I used to babysit her. The basement has two means of escape other than going into my area. It is fully up to code and as an in-law suite. Fully up to code as an in-law suite. There's no reason for anyone to go through it into my space. I went on vacation and left my door to the basement dead bolted. 3 days into my vacation, I get an alert on my phone that there's been an unauthorized event at my house. I look at the video. It's my mom opening the door for Sally's mom. They freak out when the alarm goes off. Usually, if I need my mom to get into my apartment, I will give her a temporary code. It is always the same one because she gets confused by tech. But I have to activate it beforehand. I cannot do it retroactively. The only choice would be to call her and give her my personal code. I checked the cameras in the house, and strangely enough, the house is not on fire. I didn't leave the faucet running. There is no emergency. This is where I might be the butthole. Once I saw they were just effing with my area for no good reason, I put my phone on airplane mode and went back to the party. I guess it was a party. Maybe an hour and a half later, a concierge at the resort came and said I was urgently needed at the phone. My dad has written down my whereabouts, and they called the front desk for me. I excused myself and went for the call. I asked my mom what the emergency was. Why was she getting me out of my friend's wedding reception? Was my house okay? Was my dad okay? She was very brusquely told me to shut up and talk to the cops and the security patrol. I talked to them and apologized for wasting their time. I asked them what the emergency was that brought my mother into my house. They handed her back the phone, and I let her tell me that her friend did not want to sit in the basement while she was visiting her daughter. So my mom agreed to let them use my area, and it would be a secret.
Oh.
I asked the security company to please lock my house back up and take my key back from my mother. She started to protest, but I hung up. I enjoyed the rest of my trip, and my dad has agreed to pay any fines or penalties that has come from the false alarm. Sally's mom wants her to move out. That's fine by me. I don't need a tenant, and I was only doing it as a favor. Sally is almost apologetic, begging me not to kick her out. She said she didn't even know what our moms were up to until the alarms went off. My mom is mad that I wasn't available immediately to get them out of trouble. And she is furious that I won't give her back my key. She thinks I did it on purpose. I'm not sure how she thinks I forced her to break into my home without permission. So, am I the butthole for making them sweat until they got a hold of me and taking my key back since I can't trust her now? What do you think?
I don't know. It's her house.
It's this guy's house, yeah.
Or his. I don't know who this is.
I don't know their gender.
I don't know the gender.
They didn't
but
say.
It's their house. What are you doing? Like, clearly, like, they were trying to do this secretly, so they know that what they were doing was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. I mean, like, is it a butthole move to let the alarms go off and have them deal with the police when you know that there isn't actually an emergency going on? I don't know. Maybe.
Mm-hmm. I think he was just letting them deal with the consequences of their actions.
Yeah, letting them deal with the consequences of the actions. I don't know.
I think he is not the butthole. Definitely not the butthole. I think it is uncool of your mom to, like, kind of like invade your space a little bit without asking you.
She should know the deal.
Yeah. Like, how do you think it was going to be?
What did you think was going to happen? Did you think that code was available to you all the time? No.
No, it's going to, like, go off and you have to activate it. You know this because I think you've done this before. And I think what OP really, really wants to know about the butthole is the fact that he took the keys away. I think that's what he really wants to know.
Nah.
And I think I don't think so. I think, yeah, because like it's a privilege, not a right, to own the keys, and she lost the privilege
I
to own the
guess
keys
if you want to put it like that.
because now because he's right, you can't trust her to just like straight up like let random people into his house,
the house, yeah.
into his house.
Or there, we don't know the gender.
Yeah, into the house, and I think that was probably a right move, and you would probably maybe give it back like a little bit later, like several months later.
Probably be like, hey, don't do this again.
Mm-hmm.
If you do, I'm taking the keys back, and you might not get them back ever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, don't kick out the tenant though.
Yeah, no.
I
Unless
think,
she wants to leave, don't.
I don't think she does.
She didn't have anything to do with it. It was just her own mother.
Yeah, I think you should keep the tenant, because she's begging you not to kick her out, and she didn't do anything.
I don't think that was ever in question though, whether or not that the tenant would be kicked out.
Yeah, I do think this guy's not the butthole. Ignoring. What do you think about him ignoring his mom's calls or whatever? Or something? But
I don't know. I mean, putting your phone on airplane mode, just knowing that it's because you don't want them to get in touch with you. That's a little like, okay, a little petty, but
Okay, so let's see what the people at Reddit have to say. Nata! That means not the butthole, Clara Soma.
Mm-hmm.
So your mom and mom's BFF chose to ignore your boundaries. Mom used the key meant only for emergencies to break into your property, and when there was no emergency, not just entitlement, these are the consequences of her actions. I don't blame you for putting your phone on airplane mode while at an important event. Not your mess, not your problem. I wouldn't kick Sally out if she doesn't want to go, though. She's an adult. She can make her own choices. Just remind her if she has visitors, she needs to remind them to stay on her side of the property line. And then an update. Also, maybe give your dad instead. He seems far more responsible and reasonable than your mom. So, yeah, I would agree. And then we have, lol, you did it on purpose, though. You saw her on the camera, you know she'd get in trouble, and turned her phone off to teach her a lesson. For that, I applaud you. She took liberties with your private property and personal space, and didn't even see the problem with that enough to make up an excuse. She had absolutely no business there, and would say that it wasn't a false alarm at all. She wasn't supposed to be there, and that's why the alarms went off. That's what alarms are for. Nata. I would agree. So, and then Nata, your mom and friend are rude. They deserve what they got. No key for her anytime soon. I wouldn't punish Sally for her mom. It doesn't sound like Sally was necessarily a part of this. If you have had no issues with her previously, let her stay. But just again express you know she knows. But your home is off limits, and you are not there / not invited in. Yeah, when you're a tenant, you really probably should stay out of your landlord's spot.
Yep, absolutely. But Sally didn't even go into the spot. Yeah. She just wasn't aware that her mom was like doing stuff.
What was her mom's deal? Like, I don't want to stay in a gross, ugly basement, like you, daughter. And then tries to break into her landlord's
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
And try to keep it from him. That's not cool. Okay.
And like he would have seen on the cameras anyways.
Yeah, I don't know what they were expecting. Okay. Next one. AITA for reducing my parents' allowance, quote unquote, by whatever amount they share with my siblings.
Okay.
Okay, that's weird.
Interesting concept. Let's hear what it has to say.
Okay. My parents live in a less developed country than I do. My siblings and I all live in North America or Europe. When I got my new job, I did my budget and saw that I could send home roughly $1,300 a month. Without it affecting my personal comfort, I would still be able to save for my future, and my mom and dad could retire. So when I was home, I set up a joint account for us. That way I could see they needed more and make sure they're not getting scammed or anything. So about a year and a half, I started noticing there was about a $200 transfer every month. I asked them about it, and they said they were having difficulties with his budget. Wait, who? Oh, he was having difficulties with his budget, so they're helping out. I'm guessing it's his brother.
Yeah.
My brother doesn't need help. He is a scholarship student. He actually receives a stipend from my home government to study abroad. What he wants is money to party. Ho ho. So I reduce the amounts I give them by $200. Obviously, they don't need it if they can afford to give it away every month. My mom called me when she noticed and was yelling at me for being a crummy daughter and sister. I asked her to tell me exactly how much money they contributed to my party fund when I was away for school. Just so you know, the answer is 0. They also tried to talk me out of attending university in Canada. I'm not sure how common the idea of filial piety is.
Filial piety.
Filial piety is on other countries, but it's a big deal in mine. She went off about it. I told her that she didn't need the money and I had better ways to spend $200 than to gift it to my brother so he could get drunk with his friends more. She said that I am treating them like children by restricting how they spend their money. I replied that I was not going to subsidize my brother through them. And from now on, the amount they got from me would be $1,100. And that if they send him money again, I know I'm going to reduce their money by that amount going forward. My brother called me to scold me about cutting off his money from our parents. I said that I hadn't. He was welcome to tell our parents to go back to back-breaking jobs at their age to pay for his partying in London. Then they would have my money to live off of and their wages to pay for his drinking. My boyfriend is on my side, as are many of my friends. Most of my family and people from my culture think I'm being a butthole. However, for the last 2 months, my parents have only been spending on themselves. So what do you think?
I don't know about this one.
Does she know that her brother is partying,
right?
using the money to party?
I don't know. That's the thing. Does she know for sure what's her brother's doing? Maybe she's right. Maybe he is just using it for partying, but maybe he is actually having problems with budgeting. And yeah, you can get a stipend from your home country, but if you're having budgeting issues, then and you end up using all of the stipend money for that time to pay for something, I don't know what it would be. But
and also,
then, what if you need extra monies for groceries or you know,
because he is a student and I don't know how much stipends are.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I'm pretty sure London isn't exactly a cheap city to live in.
Pretty expensive, from what I remember.
Yeah, and so.
And then the thing is that you're giving your parents money.
Mm-hmm.
If your parents want to spend some of that money, not all of it, only some, only $200. If they want to spend that $200 on your brother, what's the issue?
Yeah, because once it comes from her to them, it is not her money anymore. It is now theirs.
It's now their money.
But at the same time, if we do that logic, it is also her money, and she can reduce it if she so chooses.
True, that's right.
So she can send over $200 less.
Can send over $200 less. I don't know.
It might force it does seem to be working. It is forcing them to not
give any money to
brother.
The brother.
But I do think it's a little bit. It might be a little bit kind of presumptuous to assume that she's going up there and
but again,
partying.
I don't know. We don't know their family situation. She might be right.
What do you think, Clara? The butthole or not the butthole?
I don't know with this one.
You gotta choose, Clara Summer.
I'll
choose.
Yeah, you choose.
I'll choose. I don't think she's the butthole. What do you think?
I don't know.
Maybe the people of Reddit could help you decide.
Yeah, let me form my opinion upon the opinions of others.
Yes, not just any other people. Redditors.
The Redditors. Woo.
Yeah, they know their stuff. So, Nata, and since your parents probably don't tell you often enough, I'll say it for them. You're an amazingly thoughtful, loving, and caring child to your parents. You send them upwards of $1,000 every month just so they can retire and not have to work. That's amazing. You're also reducing the amount you give them as a preventative measure to make sure that they don't get taken advantage of by a spoiled son. If they give $200 now without consequences, it would eventually increase to 300, then 400, then 500, and so on and so forth. You set a boundary that will help your parents keep their money for themselves, and they can continue to remain retired and not spread themselves so too thin. What do you think?
Okay.
I mean, it is true. It could be a slippery slope.
Could be a slippery slope. I don't know if this kid is actually a spoiled son. He might be.
I don't think we have enough information on it.
We don't have
So,
enough information on
Nata, if you wanted to give your brother $200 a month, you would send it direct. You don't have to give your parents money to make an end run so that you're giving your brother that $200. I agree with your logic. If they're spending $200 a month to your brother, that's money they don't actually need from you. A total effect is that you stop giving brother $200 a month.
Right, but what if the parents want to give their son some money?
Right. And also, like, $200 isn't a lot.
It isn't a lot. I don't know what he's using $200 per month for.
Because $200, that's like 2 trips to the grocery store, right?
Yeah.
And, I don't know if he's really doing it for the Muns.
I don't know.
I mean, not for the Muns, but for the partying.
Yeah, I personally, I would need more information to make an actual decision about whether or not I believe this person is a butthole.
A lot of the Redditors here seem to be taking OP's judgment of brother being irresponsible partier who takes advantage of his parents a bit on its face.
Face value.
Mm-hmm. And it seems to me,
this is what I think.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say that if the sister is correct and the brother is using it for partying, then I would say not the butthole. But if the sister is wrong and he actually does need that money and it's, the parents giving him the money, then I would say a little bit of a butthole. But
and then again, the brother could just straight up just ask his sister for the Muns.
That's true.
Yeah.
Never mind. I don't know what I was gonna say.
Nata!
No.
They don't want to be treated like children, but you will gladly take a monthly allowance from you. An allowance they wouldn't have if you had listened to them and accepted their lack of support. I doubt your brother will send them money when he gets a job.
You don't know that.
So they have a choice to make. Keep giving him money they claim to need, or use the money so they can have an easier retirement.
Okay. Everybody seems super quick to judge on this.
Okay, and then here's another quote. She said that I'm treating them like children by restricting how they spend their money. And then the response is, that's hilarious. Say it right back to her. Nata.
Okay.
And then one says, no, you're restricting how you spend my money. Which, I don't know. It seems kind of like not cool.
Yeah.
It's like, I own you. I'm doing this not because I like you, it's because I have power over you now.
Yeah.
That's my dollar you're spending.
Don't send my brother money or else I will stop sending you money. Okay.
Yeah. I think if I take OP's job
at face
value, I say not the butthole. So yeah, we'll just keep it at that.
Sure. Okay.
So let's see. I make comments about women doing yoga, and now it's awkward.
Oh boy. Okay.
Okay, let's see. My 31 male, who's the OP, wife, who's 30 female, and two of her good friends get together every morning and do yoga. They do it at home while watching an instructor on YouTube, and rotate homes from week to week. It has become an important part of her routine, and she has been noticeably happier and healthier since she started doing it. I work from home, and does one of her yoga husbands. He and I will joke about it when it's yoga week, quote unquote, at our house, that we have to avoid the living room or whatever to give the women some privacy. We usually don't see the ladies before or after the yoga session, and we will admittedly make little jokes to each other via text from time to time that it's a good yoga day, quote unquote, over here if the ladies are looking cute or whatever. Not anything scandalous, just stuff like that. Stuff like, and I quote, Donna is having a great yoga day today, or, and I quote, Jess wins yoga today. If they are wearing an attractive outfit or whatever, stuff like that. The guy I texted with mentioned it to a third guy over beers last week. Something to the effect that he's missing out on the yoga mornings by not working from home, and mentioned that he and I will send texts with yoga updates from time to time. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure the exact words, but something harmless like, well, this third guy, something like that. Well, this third guy flew off the handle, told his wife, and she gave the other two women heads up that this guy and I were sending weird texts about their yoga. My wife and the other wife absolutely laughed it off. They thought it was cute and funny and not at all unexpected. My wife let her know that they were all good guys and don't expect guys not to notice women in yoga shorts or whatever. But now this third woman has paused joining our morning yoga because of all this. I feel bad about this, and I may owe an apology, although it doesn't feel like any major kind of issue. Advice is welcome. What do you think?
What were the comments they were making?
Like, Jess is having a good yoga day, or some other person wins yoga this week or something like that. That's what they would say.
That doesn't sound like anything.
Doesn't sound like anything bad? You don't think?
That doesn't sound like anything bad. This person is having a good yoga day? What?
Yeah, basically based off of that they were wearing like an attractive outfit, he said.
Was he saying that about his own wife?
No, about other women there. What do you think, Claire?
I think I have to hear some comments.
Okay. Well, I think I don't think it's really cool of him to basically objectify these ladies who were there, and I think if that makes one of them uncomfortable, I think that's fair of them to leave.
Yep.
And I think it's kind of a butthole move, being all like, "Ooh, this person looks nice today." Ooh. His wife is cool with it, I guess. So I guess that's something, but I don't know. I wouldn't go around creeping on these ladies because it makes you kind of feel like a creep.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, a creepy move.
Creepy move.
I mean, see, there's a difference between a butthole and a creep, though. So.
Okay, so let's see. The people of Reddit says, I have secondhand embarrassment from reading this. You guys are gross and need to grow up. I never work out at friends if their husbands are texting about mine and our bodies to other buddies. What the heck? Yeah, that's another thing. That's why women are kind of like scared to go to like gyms and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why that's why there are women only days at the gym.
Yep.
Because of
so anybody
like
who isn't comfortable with being looked at in a certain way, or with the potential of being looked at in a certain way, that way they can go on those days.
Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't be going around like texting my buddies like, "Hey, dude, this guy's good. That's really good.
Yoga pants are really stretchy."
That's how they talk. That's how guys talk.
That's exactly how they talk.
They talk like these yoga pants are stretchy and they go below the knee. They go
super stretchy yoga pants today.
You think they go up to like them like, "Hey, Jessica, your yoga pants are very stretchy today."
Well, clearly they don't go up to them because they're texting their buddies.
Yeah, my rule of thumb is never text a buddy something you wouldn't tell them to their face.
To the face, yeah.
And that includes stuff like, "Your yoga pants are really stretchy."
Your yoga pants are very stretchy.
Okay, here's another one. Here's another perspective. If my friends' husbands were actively raiding me while I was at their house, I'll prioritize my safety and our friendship by just never being around y'all again. Because no sane woman feels good or insecure with their friends' partners looking at them like that. That kind of stuff can ruin friendships. One crazy wrong event, and suddenly I'm the home-wrecking friend. She has been made into a social liability. She's not safe in y'all's presence. And now she handles this, or how she escalates would severely negatively affect your friendships with the other women. That's excluding the fact that y'all objectified her during every vulnerable activity, in a very vulnerable activity in what was presumed to be a safe space. Y'all do not think before you say or do things, and it shows. You do not think about the intersectionality of things and how it could be affecting other people. It's a sign of immaturity and inconsideration. I would agree.
Yep.
Because, yeah, what he's doing is probably would be considered inappropriate.
Very childish, very inappropriate.
It sounds like
Very
those
high schoolboy.
yeah, very high school, like trying to like peek in the women's locker room, like
Yeah.
ooh.
See it. This is the difference between creep and butthole.
Yeah, and I would be okay if it was just him making comments about his own wife. That'd be fine. But other people, but other ladies who aren't your wife, I think that's a bit weird.
Yeah, that's questionable.
Mm-hmm. And I don't think her friend is in the wrong for not wanting to join, and I think she has every right to do that.
Absolutely.
So, here's a quote.
Okay.
Stuff like Donna is having a great yoga day today, or Jess wins yoga today, if they're wearing an attractive outfit or whatever. Stuff like that. And then the response is, excuse you, why do you think this is appropriate?
Okay. Yeah.
And then they responded, but it's deleted, so I can't see it. So, yeah. There it is. That was an uncool move. Maybe don't do that.
Yeah. Sounds like something that you should refrain from doing in the future.
Because I think it could have been a lot worse, and you should probably not do this because it will get worse if you keep doing this.
Yep.
So, yeah, I would say butthole. Let's move on. My 71 male brother, the OP is 31 male.
Okay.
And his brother, who is 18 male, has gone no contact. So that's a massive, way older brother, way younger brother.
Yep.
After I slept with his crush. Oh, that's good. How do I make it up to him?
No!
I think you don't.
Gone. Relationship over.
Relationship over.
Bridges burned, my guy.
My guy. Okay. I messed up. I take accountability. I've been going through a lot and been depressed. Ooh-hoo, boo-hoo.
Hey, well.
It's the consequences of my own action. My brother is in his freshman year in college. He is super smart. I'm so proud of all his accomplishments. I live in a different state from our parents and close to the school he's going to. He's got a 4-year ROTC scholarship and wants to be a doctor. So he's training to be in the military, and he's going to be the doctor.
Wow.
He's going to try to apply to a scholarship where the Army pays for his medical school.
Yep.
I've been letting him stay with me since I only live 30 minutes from the school. He brought this girl over from his school, and I hung out with them. I thought it would end there. She adds me on Instagram, and we start talking. Oh, that's how it starts.
Lord.
And hanging out with just the two of us on some friend poop. That's how it starts.
Mm-hmm.
I opened up to... Oh, gosh, I pressed a button. Now I can't see it.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Technical difficulties.
I opened up to her like I never opened up to anyone before. It's really weird. Isn't she 18?
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, I think she's 18.
She's 18. I mean...
Yeah. Because she's also in
age
freshman in
gaps
college.
are complicated. Let's keep going.
I'm not very successful, and sometimes it's hard seeing my brother's accomplishments. She told me about how she wants to be an occupational therapist, and she told me that I'm very intelligent and just want to put my mind to finding a career. Her struggles with her first year in college, see?
Yep.
I told her that she's really smart and will accomplish her goals. She also told me my brother is a great dude, but she only sees him as a friend. Anyway, one night she came over, we were hanging out with me, we had the sex.
Yep.
Unfortunately, I wasn't thinking about how much it would hurt my brother. Yeah, clearly.
Yep.
But with my depression, she made me feel better and realize my potential. At the same time, I explained to him she didn't like him back. It wasn't his girlfriend. They only kissed and didn't sleep together. He actually took all this stuff and is staying at one of his friend's dorms and been ignoring me for 2 weeks. If I knew this would be his reaction, I wouldn't have done it. I think it's dumb to let some woman come between us.
Okay.
What do you think?
Okay, so this is strange to me. Like, yeah, I mean, this is stuff that constantly ruins relationships with people. You know, I'm honestly, I feel bad for this girl who's like stuck in the middle of this.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, this is, you know, it's, how to explain this? It's complicated. I mean, first of all, she is her own woman.
Mm-hmm.
The brother, he likes her. Yes, she doesn't like him back. I don't know if she ever explained that to him. They kissed, apparently. I don't know. But they weren't dating.
Yeah.
Right? But the brother knew that his younger brother liked this girl.
Mm-hmm.
And still he slept with her anyway.
Right.
That's like a dang. Honestly, it's a really not cool move.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, you know, there are societal rules and stuff, you know, the bro code or whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't...
It applies extra because they're actually bros.
Because they're actually brothers.
Yeah, they're actual bros.
You don't... If you know that your guy likes... Your brother likes this girl, and you know that it'll hurt him if you do this.
Yeah.
You know, don't do it.
I think in the moment he didn't think.
He probably didn't.
It
was probably a spur of the moment thing.
So you should probably think about your actions.
And you know, like, I can understand. Depression is really difficult. And
it sounds like he's using it as an excuse.
Hey, listen. Nathaniel.
Yeah.
That's true that you can't just blame your depression for doing things that are not good.
Yeah.
But
selfish even,
sure, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
No, it is selfish, you're right. No, but like, it's really difficult when you're in a depressive state to make good decisions.
Mm-hmm. Ignoring the massive age gap and the fact that she's barely legal.
Yeah.
I think that it wasn't cool. It was definitely not a cool thing to do. You gotta respect your brother.
This is a thing where it's like hey, I know you like her, but I'm starting to really like her too.
You should probably talk it out with your brother too.
It's like you need to discuss that thing instead of just going straight into sleeping with her.
Yeah, and I don't blame this guy OP's brother for not wanting to talk to him because I'm sure he's mad as all get out.
Yeah.
And justifiably so.
Especially if you really liked this girl.
Yeah, I would be really mad. I would be really, really, really mad. And so I do think his actions have consequences, and that this is a massive consequence. And now let's get on to the whole massive age gap thing.
Okay.
The fact that she's 18 and he's 31.
Listen, you know, you meet them as an adult.
Mm-hmm. But then again, like, if you have to start a phrase with "it's technically legal,"
did he say that in there?
No,
did he say it's technically legal?
And it is technically legal, though. And if something has to be technically legal, it's strange. It's at least morally gray.
Yeah, and so I personally don't have a lot to say on this matter.
Yeah, I think maybe he should probably try to go for someone his own age, maybe.
Well, yeah.
Or
sure.
At least maybe somebody over 25, or someone at least who's old enough to drink, maybe.
Okay.
At the very least, maybe.
I don't know.
Somebody who doesn't have to have homework, maybe.
You can still be 25 and have homework.
Yeah, I have homework too. I got homework to do, Clara Selma.
Because you can be in college at any age.
You can be you can be an adult student, yeah.
Yeah.
You go back to school, get your graduate degree.
Yeah.
And or take a few classes.
Yeah.
But like on and off, I do think this guy's a butthole who did something very selfish and uncool to his brother who probably deserves more. And it's not cool Because it sounds like you're
This sounds like this. There's a part of me that thinks this sounds like he did it because he wanted to feel like he could achieve something that his brother couldn't.
Exactly. I think, yeah, because there is some sibling rivalry here on his end.
Mm-hmm.
And it stinks because he's the older one.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, my younger brother's joining the military and he's going to be a doctor. And I'm a washout who can only get with 18-year-old girls. and who aren't old enough to realize I'm a bad person.
Really not that great of a person. Their brains aren't fully developed yet.
Yeah.
Not until they're 25.
Yeah. And it is really messed up to be like, I can do this thing that my brother can't. And that is get with this girl.
Yeah.
And it really stinks. And in terms of his asking for advice about what he should do next, I would, if this was like a not of a friend, if this was just a friend, I would say relationship done, nothing.
Yeah.
But since this is like his brother,
Mm-hmm.
I would say definitely try to talk this out.
Try to talk it out.
Try to mend.
Make sure that you are apologizing because what you did is not cool. And I say warrants an apology.
Warrants an apology. Never talk to this girl again.
I don't know.
Never talk to this girl again. Show that you love your brother more than you like this girl.
Yeah. I
By
don't know.
never talking to her again. I think that's the best word to do.
Okay.
As a member of the bro code, that's probably what I would do. If I was on the judge of the bro code, the bro court,
Okay.
that's the sentence I would probably give.
The sentence.
Or that's probably what I would give.
Here, I sentence you to never speak to her again.
Yeah. And then they have to I whip them?
Bang, bang, bang. No, that's the sound of the gavel.
The gavel?
Yeah, sorry.
And yeah, they have to
Bang,
swear
bang, bang,
when they have to swear on the Gibel.
The gavel.
When they're going under oath.
Yeah,
They
of
have to
course.
do on the Gibel. On Deuteronomy.
On Deuteronomy.
The book of Deuteronomy. So okay, here's what the people of Reddit have to say.
Yes, let's see. Let's hear.
Take accountability, in quotes. Immediately adds an excuse.
Yeah.
Sure, Jan.
Yeah.
Okay, here's another quote. If I knew this would be a reaction, I wouldn't have done it. And then the response is, what did you think his reaction would be? True. And then a quote, I think it's dumb to let some woman come between us. And then the response is, if that's all you think this is, you're dumber than I think you are. Also, was this girl also 18? Gross, dude. You're 31 years old. If you need someone to help you make you feel better about yourself, get a therapist, not some 18-year-old girl to stroke your ego. Grow up. I would agree. I would definitely agree.
Yeah.
If she was like some girl fresh out of high school, she would be like, oh, you're so old and
I can
mature,
see.
and you treat me like I'm mature.
That's definitely like
that's what predators do.
That's definitely like a red flag situation. I don't know. I have weird feelings about, age gap and whatever. I don't know.
I mean, there is a point where age gaps are fine.
Yeah.
Like, a 30-year-old can date a 40-year-old. That's fine. That's not an issue.
But can a 30-year-old date a 50-year-old?
Yeah.
Yeah, see? That's also fine and
That's
not
also
an issue.
fine
But
and
it's
not
the
an issue.
same amount of gap.
You're right. But I think what it is kind of is an issue.
The thing is that it's the issue of when you meet them.
Right. Let's see what this guy says.
Yeah.
Quote, if I knew this would be his reaction, I wouldn't have done it. I think it's done for someone to come between us. Okay, and then the response is, this outcome should have been obvious, and trying to brush off things like you're doing isn't going to help you. You're trying to downplay this like it's no big deal, but you're sleeping with and seeming to be trying to start a relationship with someone who's barely an adult when you're over 30, which is its own kind of creepy. It doesn't matter if it's legal. Getting on top of that argument, because I'm sure it's coming, it's still creepy. And someone you seem to be aware your brother had at least some kind of interest and relationship with, trying to justify it as they only kissed but didn't sleep together means absolutely nothing. It was a poopy thing to do. To add to that, it also sounds like you like this is some kind of weird power trip on your part when you bring in the I'm not very successful and sometimes it's hard seeing my brother's accomplishments. It's that makes it sound like your intention was to get something he didn't have by sleeping with her. The thing you need is to stop trying to justify things that you did that multiple times. Take responsibility for what you did. Don't pursue a relationship with someone whose brain isn't fully developed yet, and give him some space. I'd say to send him a message apologizing, a real apology, not one you trying to justify it or rubbing more salt in the room by telling him she's not interested in him, and leave it up to him to decide whether he contacts you again. Yeah. I would agree. I think that's the best way to go about it because he is your brother and you love your brother, and you need to prove that you do by proving that you love your brother more than you like this girl. Not love this girl, you like this girl.
Like.
Yeah. Because and also this girl probably deserves better than you also. If she doesn't like her brother, your brother, I'm sure they're cool and stuff, but she sure as heck shouldn't be with you, OP.
Yeah, probably not.
And maybe give Tinder a try.
Maybe.
And set the minimum age to 25. So, yeah, you are a major butthole, OP, and you should probably try to fix this.
Yeah,
it kind of makes me wonder.
Pretty butthole behavior.
So I have a question for you, Claire.
Me. What's up?
Something kind of related to this, but not really.
Okay.
I mean, it's a similar situation.
Okay,
but
sure.
What about the whole relationship between the old relationship between Billie Eilish and
oh my gosh
and Jesse Rutherford?
Nathaniel, I don't have anything to say about this.
It's like the same thing. I mean, they met when she was 15, and then they dated when she was like 21.
Well, how old was she? Well, how old was he?
I think he was in his 30s, maybe.
Okay. And he met her when she was 15, and he was in his 30s when she was 15?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's weird. And then they date later?
Yeah.
That's weird. That's it.
Let's see what the next one is.
Okay.
Next up is AITA for telling my mom to never invite her friends again after ruining my birthday party.
Okay. Let's hear the story.
Mm-hmm. I, 18, female, recently had my birthday. Congratulations.
Yay, happy
You're
birthday.
18 now. Make sure
you don't go on dates with washed up 30-year-olds.
Watch out 30-year-olds who's depressed and stuff.
Hey.
And as in like
watch it with the depression.
As in like I'm so sad. I need you to make me feel better. 18-year-old girl.
Okay, I got you. All right. Listen, hey, depression is serious.
It is. It's a chemical imbalance.
It's a chemical imbalance.
Yes.
Makes you do crazy things sometimes.
Yeah. At first, I was just going to have lunch with my friends at a restaurant, but my parents insisted in joining us and celebrating. Get together with us, even though we were going to celebrate at home as a family anyway. I didn't mind. I told them that I'd be happy to have anyone over at the party. Well, all was going well until my mom told me she also invited her friends to my birthday party.
What?
I didn't want them there because I didn't know them well enough, and it was just supposed to be people close to me. But she was stubborn about inviting them, so I suggested that we could have two timings. One for my mom's guests and the others for my friends. She agreed to it, and it was settled that we will invite her guests at noon, while my friends will be here at 2 p.m. Whose party is this anyway? This way, I could spend enough time with my friends and also give them enough time with the other guests. On the day of the party, one of my mom's guests arrived on time, and only by the time all my friends were there did they start arriving. I was a bit annoyed but didn't say anything. One of my guests' daughter, around 6 years old, wouldn't leave me alone. She clung on to me the entire time. Her parents insisted on having her cut my cake. I let her do it since she was just a kid who probably wanted to do it for fun. But then she started smashing the cake with her bare hands, wiping her snot on the new dress I was wearing, which was my birthday gift, and even spat on the food. And her parents, instead of disciplining their kid, stopped the music that my friends and I were playing and played kids' music so that their daughter could, quote, show us her dance. I didn't get to spend a single second with my friends, and by the time they left, everything was a mess. I kept my cool and thanked everyone, including those parents, for coming to the party. Once everyone left, I started crying and I told my mom how her guests ruined my party and that I hoped I never had to see her again. She took it as me blaming her for everything, so she started telling me how ungrateful of a child I am and that I didn't even deserve to have a birthday party. I don't even know what to tell her anymore. So what do you think?
No.
Not the butthole?
Not the butthole.
I think it is. You're not the butthole because this is your party and your mom should know that it is your party.
Yeah.
Your birthday is
Why is your mom inviting her friends to your party?
Right, exactly. Your birthday party should be your birthday should be the one day where it is acceptable to make it all about you.
Exactly.
And it's all about you. So it is okay to be like, this is about me because it is about you.
It is about you.
And so that is your space. So I don't think your mom, also is really inconsiderate of her friends to come in 2 hours late.
Right?
I think that was uncool.
Like,
I was
what?
very uncool. And I was also really inconsiderate of. there's I know that there's some weddings out there where it's 18 up, no kids allowed, and I think this is one of the reasons why there are weddings that are like that.
Yeah.
The weddings that are 18 plus only.
I don't think that she's mad at the kid. Probably not.
She's mostly mad at the mom
mad at the parents
for not parenting.
Yeah.
And I would agree. And she really let it happen. Really bended her back over.
Yeah.
For them.
She was very polite.
She was very polite.
She didn't lose her cool in front of her guests.
She let her kid be the kid.
Everybody like a guest at her party.
And she let her kid be the kid.
Yeah.
Which is a very nice thing to do. But I think you are very justified in being upset at your mom for
ruining your party
because that's what she did. And for your mom reacting like, you ungrateful girl. I'm like, that's not a cool thing to do.
Not cool.
That's not a good mom move. Okay, so here's the people of Reddit. Okay, edit. Okay, she took it as me blaming her for everything. That's a quote. And then the response is, well, I mean, her guess did ruin everything, so you wouldn't be wrong if you did. Nata, your mom's friend's kid, who should never have been at your party in the first place, was a little monster, and it's completely inappropriate of her to try to seize control of your birthday party. That might be a little bit drastic to blame the kid for being a kid. I think it is really uncool for her parents to not put the kibosh on it, though.
Yeah. Put the kibosh on it. What the heck?
That's a thing Critical would say.
Okay.
You know who Critical is, right?
No.
So, OP responds with, "Thanks a lot, ... I do not blame the kid, though, because I feel like the parents need to be held accountable for raising their child well enough."
Absolutely.
TVT. Oh, that's an emoji.
Oh.
So, yeah. What?
Nothing. Keep going.
You want to see how the emoji looks?
No.
So, yeah, no. Yeah, I would agree with OP's statement of that. Nata, I totally understand. Your mom insisted on her insensitive friends coming, and they ruined it for you. And when your mom blames you for it, that's another thing. Her compromising for her mom to say, your friends can come at noon and my friends can come at 2.
Yeah.
I think that was very fair. And then her parents just come in 2 hours late? That's not cool.
That's not cool.
I can't believe, your friend, you should be why are you late? You're late. You missed the party.
You missed the party. The party is over.
You missed the party.
Your part of the party gone.
Yeah. I totally understand. Your mom and sister are sensitive friends. Okay, blame her for it. If this ever happens again, and it shouldn't, remember last time, ? No thanks. If they show up, I leave. Then make sure your friends are there first. And then when your parents' friends show up, you can leave. Heck, I'm surprised you didn't leave with your friends with it was clear your parents' friends were just ruining everything. Kudos on you being the more mature person and even thanking them for coming. You can tell your mom that you're very disappointed in her, not for the party, maybe she didn't realize her friends were crud, but for how she ignored and dismissed your feelings and made it all about herself. And then OP responds with, "Thanks a lot. I'm just happy that I can finally go out on my own and don't need my parents' permission. My friends and I are planning on hanging out together soon to make up for the disastrous party. Haha, TVT."
Nice.
I hope she has a car and a driver's license.
Probably, yeah.
Because that would be extra freedom. Nata! However, I caution you to approach this one. I take this one as a learning experience that your events will be co-opted by your mom. So plan whatever events you actually want quite separately from your mom. Also, you'll get to learn that people are often late to things, so a 2-hour spacing is never actually going to work out. That's not cool. Like, come in on time. Don't be getting so inconsiderate.
Some people are just like that.
Don't be like fashionably late. That's not cool. And OPS responds with, "Okay, I'll try to keep that in mind. My friends and I are planning on a separate party soon in order to make up for the last time. TVT, and yes, I will make sure the timing is appropriate for everyone." Okay. And I think there is an update. Yeah, update. "Thanks to everyone for your birthday wishes. My friends and I are planning on hanging out very soon. I'm happy that we could have a redo party. No parents or 6-year-olds this time. Lol. Many comments asked about my dad's reaction. My dad was against the entire thing when my mom first mentioned inviting her friends, but she had to give in since mom was the one paying for most things and there was no winning an argument with her. During the party he was, well, drunk, very drunk, and he didn't realize how big of a mess it was. He still thinks that the party went really well, lol." So yeah, you're definitely not the butthole.
Definitely not the butthole.
Okay. Also, your dad being like drinking to make it through. I think that's probably, I could understand why he did that. Okay. I had for leaving dinner with my girlfriend's family because they kept speaking in a language I don't understand.
Okay. Interesting start.
That's interesting. Yeah, let's see what you got. Let's see what you got for us. Username puzzle-headed owl.
Okay.
4052.
Okay.
Okay. I'm from Galicia, a region in Spain that speaks a language that is very similar to Portuguese, and my girlfriend is from Barcelona, which is in Catalonia. Mm-hmm. She speaks Catalan. We live in Madrid and study here in university. Mm-hmm. Everyone in Spain speaks Spanish, except for foreigners, pretty much on the native level from education, media, and exposure. There is no such thing as a Spaniard who only speaks Basque, Catalan, or whatever unless they are 90 plus years old from some small village, and even they would still know the basis of Castilian Spanish. I know I'm going to get some comments about this. Okay, so here's the conflict. People from Catalonia are often very nationalistic and will sometimes refuse to speak Castilian, which is like Spanish.
Yes.
I was in Valencia, and some B-word said, "Speak properly, speak Valencian," a dialect of Catalan.
Yeah.
When I asked her for direction in Castilian Spanish, that was mean.
Okay.
That's like kind of like saying like, "Oh, this is America. We speak English in America." It's like that.
Speak with a southern accent.
My girlfriend invited me over to her parents' house in Barcelona. They talked amongst themselves for a bit in Catalan. I understood like maybe half or 2/3 of it. They greet me in Catalan, and I say in Castilian Spanish, "I don't speak Catalan. I'm from Galicia." They say something in Catalan to each other, which I think was negative. They eat dinner, her sisters and their husbands are there, and are discussing things in Castilian, and they would often say things to each other in Catalan, which I thought was rude, but I let it go. They kept switching to Catalan during a conversation. I responded, reminded them like 5 times they don't speak Catalan. So they would go back to Castilian and then switch back to Catalan. I go outside, take a breath of fresh air. Girlfriend joins me, and I ask her what the F is her family's problem. Why do they keep excluding me from the conversation? And she says they hate speaking Castilian. I told her that's BS. I heard her dad speak in Castilian to someone in Peru during his Zoom meeting. He took a 30-minute Zoom call while I was there, and the mom was preparing food. And not once did he switch to Catalan. We joined back, and they start asking me my opinion about things. I respond and I ask them questions, and they just respond back in Catalan and respond to each other and respond to each other's responses to that in Catalan. And I Jasut, I think she meant to say I just,
Yep.
had enough, and I said, I'm leaving now. The food was good, but I can't stand the rudeness. I told you so many times, I do not speak Catalan. I don't feel welcome, so I'm going goodbye. The father says, how effing rude. We prepared such a good meal for you, and you are leaving it unfinished. We spent hours on this. They make an entire goose and five side dishes. And I said, I effing told you I don't speak Catalan. Why would I be here if you don't even respect me enough to speak in a common language? I never spoke to you in Galician, Portuguese, he wrote Portuguese English, but I think he meant Portuguese, English.
Yes, that's probably what he meant.
Yeah. Or Romanian. F you, buttholes. I grabbed my stuff and left. 15 missed calls from girlfriend last night. Stayed at friend's parents' home nearby. Heaven is misspelled. Talked in a day. AITA what to do. What do you think?
Yeah, this sounds like the parents and family were purposefully
Yeah, doing it maliciously. I get it, because in the context of how the Catalonia's relationship with the rest of Greater Spain, it is a very nationalistic country.
Yep.
And they do want, like, so much so that they want to, like, secede from Spain. So I can see how nationalistic her parents must be.
Yeah.
And them speaking in Catalan is kind of as like their form of defiance against speaking against Spain, but they're kind of like taking it out on this Spanish guy.
Yeah, well, from what is it?
Galicia? Yeah, Galicia. Who I think isn't it like another part of Spain?
It's a different part of Spain.
Yeah. So this Spanish guy, and I do think it is really odd when you're like speaking to another language to like another person, knowing that the person that you're talking about doesn't speak it, so you feel really emboldened to say whatever you want.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this guy stinks buttholes, and I'm like, I mean, it comes across as like I guess a bit like rude, because like if you could say whatever you want, if you want to say it to this guy, I would just say it to his face.
Yeah.
Because
the fact is that they do speak Castilian.
Yeah, they do speak Spanish, and like, and I know they're just switching to a language they don't understand so they can just talk poop about them,
Probably,
which I think is very uncool. Because if you have something to say about somebody, either just say it to their face or just don't say it at all. Just don't say it at all. Just give them the common courtesy to speak a common language with them. And I'm not saying this to be like I'm American, we speak English here. Like, it's kind of like uncool, and it makes them feel like they're the odd ones out.
Yeah.
And like, cause it
literally,
feels, yeah.
that's like literally icing someone out.
Yeah. And him and he did say can we just stick to a language we all know?
Yeah.
And he said that several times, but they kept on switching back to Catalan.
Yeah.
And finally he had enough, and it was like, I'm donezo here. And her parents coming up see, you're the problem.
Exactly.
And I think they were just doing that just to make him do that. So
that's always the thing. It's like as soon as you get angry, you're the one who's lost because you're angry.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, you pushed me to this.
Yeah. He told him several times that he does not speak Catalan. And I think it's also kind of respectful to talk in a language so we can have all communications.
It would be one thing if they didn't know any, right?
Yeah.
But they did know the common language.
They did know Spanish, yeah. And they clearly have no problem speaking Spanish without transitioning to Catalan, because apparently he talked to somebody in Peru.
Yeah.
Nationalism aside, you should probably talk to your girlfriend's
boyfriend, who clearly they like each other a lot.
Yeah, and I wouldn't if my daughter had I'm guessing I can't. I was gonna try to relate to this, but I'm monolingual and I can't really.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything. It only works if I was bilingual. But I guess I could say like if like Subin brought a partner, and she brings us over here, and her partner doesn't speak English, and we all are like, or yapping in English. Well, we don't know Korean.
Yeah, I
So-
was about to say that still
so that
doesn't
doesn't work.
because we still don't speak Korean.
We don't speak Korean, so I guess that doesn't work.
No.
But you get my point. You get my point. It's not cool. Just like
It's
speak in a
not
common
cool.
language.
If you can, speak in a common language. And if not, then, you can have your daughter translate for you.
Yeah.
But you can't.
I think a better one is if I go and meet her partner's family, I guess, and they all speak English, but they keep on switching to Korean.
That would be, yes.
That would be uncool. Which is what they did that one time when we were in Houston. They kept on talking to each other in Korean.
Well, I don't know.
And I think one person, like, they pointed at me and they spoke to Subit in Korean, and she was like, oh, and it made me feel really weird.
Oh, well, I don't know. I really don't remember that very well.
I remember it. I remember it very well.
I'm sure you remember it. You were older than me.
I remember this very well. So it's not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling iced out on a language barrier. And Claire, do you not agree?
No, I mean, like, it doesn't. Let's say it's like this. So, at like a family, like, say if we're like hanging out with daddy's side of the family, and they all speak Spanish and English, and all of a sudden they're all speaking Spanish, and like it's like, wait, we can't understand what you're saying. Like, yeah, that doesn't feel great.
To me, like, if it was our family, I probably wouldn't care. But if it was like another person's family,
like, we don't know our family that very well.
Okay. But I mean, I really wouldn't care less if my own family
I guess
did that.
so. I guess
But
so.
if it was another family that I'm trying to impress, probably. Like if it was my significant
a
other's
little bit more
family,
self-conscious. I guess I'm just a bit more self-conscious.
Yeah.
Anyways.
If that happened, I wouldn't care less. I would just be like, I'm just gonna watch Endgame on the TV, and that's if it was like my significant other's parents,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to impress them, and they keep on like reverting back to a different language that they don't speak.
Yeah,
It makes me
yeah.
think that they're like judging me in like a different language because I had no idea.
Absolutely.
And it makes it worse because they're doing it to your face, but you can't understand them, so they feel more emboldened to say whatever they want to your face if you can't understand them, which I think is uncool. Like, and so yeah, that's what I say. I say not the butthole. Let's see what the people at Reddit have to say.
Not the butthole.
Okay. This is a quote. They start asking me question about opinion on things. I responded, and then I asked them questions, and they just respond back in Catalan and respond to each other's responses to that in Catalan. Yeah, that's also really uncool. That's kind of weird. Why would you do that? Like, that's
Yeah, that is kind of weird.
It makes me kind of feel like you're actually trying to mess with this guy.
Right?
And then, okay. That is just flat out rude. That's the response. Deliberately so. One of the sort of parochial pride they switch in the middle of a conversation with you to the local language they know you don't speak rather than speaking the common tongue they know everyone present can speak and understand. It would be one thing if it were limited to asides to each other, but to switch right in the middle of speaking with you in order to cut you out is just them being rude and needlessly aggressive. Which I agree. I lost my spot.
Dang.
Let me see. In their parochial BS, it doesn't. That's not playing anything.
I know.
Why are you covering your ears?
I don't know.
I'm trying to read to you.
I can hear you.
Okay. It is rude, which I agree. You aren't speaking the native language, local language, but the common one in order to communicate, but rather than meeting you halfway and doing the same. They would rather play games than put that poop aside for a day so they can get to know you. You don't get to give someone the finger repeatedly and then get all offended when they aren't willing to put up with it anymore. Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely.
I agree. Okay. Nata, if you speak a common language but they refuse to. I'm Australian and can only speak English. My husband is Belgian and can only speak Flemish. Has a good understanding of Dutch and German also. His Belgian family came to Australia to stay for a few weeks while English wasn't their comfort zone. That's what they spoke, so my family and I were included. Yeah. There were many conversations in Flemish when drinking, but they switched back to English when they realized I was just smiling and couldn't follow along. My mill Skypes each Sunday, and we start off together with a quick catch-up in English, then I leave my husband with her to chat in Flemish together. In my experience, you are deliberately leaving someone out. Yes, that's incredibly rude. If there's a common language, although not fluent, that shows inclusivity.
Exactly.
Nata, matey, I'm sorry they couldn't see it. Yeah, that's another thing. Even if you don't know it fluently, and you say it like, even if it's like broken or something, like definitely not super like high level.
Yeah.
At least shows that you're
trying.
which is we respect.
Exactly.
And that's good. So, Nata, but your girlfriend certainly is. It sounds like she didn't stand up for you even after you reminded her family.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah, we haven't talked about the girlfriend a lot. Family politely multiple times that you don't speak that language, and you even spoke to her about this, and she still did nothing. She put you in a very awkward and uncomfortable position. She absolutely could have stood up for you and told her family to knock it off. On a separate note, your outburst was unbecoming of you. Oh, what?
Oh, okay.
No, excuse me, sir. Just because they were rude didn't mean that you had to be even ruder.
Of course.
Making
you have to take the high road and all of that.
Making a scene and stomping off like that wasn't your best option, and two wrongs don't make a right. You should have taken the high road, or at least calmly mentioned in leaving that you were frustrated by the fact that purposely kept speaking to you in a language you don't speak. I think he tried that, guy.
There it is again. The whole like, you got angry and you yelled, so you lost.
Yeah, I think he did try to be calm about this, and that obviously wasn't working. So,
like, how many times can you calmly say, hey, I don't speak this language. Can you guys please speak the language that we all speak?
Yeah. So here it is. And then a response was, F the high road, stand up for yourself. Right.
Yeah.
And then you can stand up for yourself without cursing your in-laws the first time you see them.
They're not even
and
the
then,
in-laws
yeah,
yet.
And then they respond with, they're not his in-laws, they're his girlfriend's parents. And then he respond with, probably won't be his in-laws in the future either. Wow, excuse you.
Okay.
And then responds with, not if that's... And if that's a bad thing, since they can't show OP basic respect now. So who do you think is the biggest butthole?
I would say that the biggest butthole of this episode is the brother who slept with
the 18-year-old?
The 18-year-old.
I would agree with that too, because you can't get more buttholier than that.
Can't get more buttholier than that.
Yeah, he's very buttholier than thou. So, that was it. We had a nice... What?
Don't crinkle things.
We had a nice collection of buttholes and non-buttholes.
Yeah, as usual.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's it. I've been Nathaniel Avila.
And I have been Clara Avila.
And we also have Kat here. Bye, Kat.
His name is Simon.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to a Vision podcast, home of Wacky Talkies, The Kingdom, Evil Exists, and many more.